and then the SBA can either approve or deny at that level before they can give you the final approval. So if it's not an SBA preferred bank, it might go through 2 steps. But that is essentially all it is. It's very rare that a bank will approve you and get a denial from SBA. This is why I say that. Before the bank approves you, they've already done their homework to know what the SBA is going to require from them. Until a lot of time, they try to get all of those information up front before they send the packet to SBA. And the moment the SBA say it's a go, then the bank will also give you the funds. But every transaction is done with the bank. You don't even contact SBA at any point in time. It's the bank that, if you default, will go to the SBA and try to reclaim some of their losses. So I hope that makes sense, because we hear a lot about the SBA and all of that. The SBA loan can go up to $2 million, as far as I know, and I have had quite a few businesses over the years go through SBA. The highest SBA loan I've been able to successfully process is about 1.4 for somebody that wanted to buy a gas station. And normally with gas stations, because you're buying the real estate property as well, those loans are about 20 years of payment. Sometimes SBA will give 7 years, sometimes 10 years. If it has real estate, it can go up to 20 years. So it depends on the bank that you are dealing with. Okay. So that's the SBA process. So if you want to go ahead and buy an existing business or start a business going through the bank, you can always look for the option of an SBA because it's easier. You can also get conventional loans, but conventional loans that are loans that don't have any SBA backing or any government backing, the banks are more strict on that. It's really hard to get that for a starting business because banks don't want to take that risk. But if it's an existing business, some banks will do it. And those ones now, normally the community banks are really good for that because they give those loans to support the community. If you are buying an existing business within the community that they don't want the business to close, some community banks will do conventional for you because they are in the community, they see the business, they know you as the person. So hopefully that helps. If you have questions, please go ahead and type it in and I will answer them. Let me see if I can bring that up actually. Um, so I can see the chart. Okay, so and I know I've talked about securing the bank loan, but let me go over some of the key things you need. So in securing a bank loan, number one is credit. You want to have good credit enough that it would, based on that bank's requirement, it will let you be able to successfully access that loan. The other one is collateral. Collateral is anything the bank can use to secure the loan. Anything the bank can use to secure the loan. When there is a security for a loan, the interest rate is less. So I gave you an example of a trucking. If I go to a bank and I want to buy a truck, because I am buying a truck, the bank can use the truck as the security for the loan, because if I don't pay back, they will come back and take the truck and sell it to pay back their money. Because there's a security for that truck, sometimes the interest rates are not as high compared to an unsecured loan. For business loans, the bank is always looking for some sort of security. So they would the truck in this case will work. And then they can give you some amount for working capital based on the projections you give to the bank. Working capital essentially is money you can use for payroll. Sometimes if you apply for a business loan, because you yourself are going to work in the business, and if it's a startup, you can tell the bank, I am going to run the business, so give me maybe 1 year of my own pay up to whatever amount you want to pay yourself. The bank can do that for you. Sometimes utilities, all of the things that you need to pay for as a business, but you cannot secure. So they'll give you a little bit, some money to do that. but they will secure the rest with any asset. But sometimes you are buying, if you're doing retail, then they can use your inventory to be their collateral. Meaning, if I'm going to buy, let's say, a toy shop, then the toy shop, the toys that I have in the store, because I don't own the store is somebody I'm renting from. But the toys in the shop is what the bank will use as the collateral. So if I don't pay, they will close the store, take all the items and sell it to somebody to make their money back. So that is what they look for in collateral, something they can use to make sure that if the money is not paid back, they can get back some of the money through selling it. So of course, if you do real estate and the building, so that is essentially what the collateral is, and a strong business plan. So the business plan will typically have a 3-year projection. They normally want to see a 3-year projection and a very good market analysis. A 3-year projection will be you telling the bank, this is where I see the business within the next 3 to 5 years. I rarely see 5 years. Most banks require for 3 years, but you can come across somebody that will ask for 5 years. So you can see one that will say 5 years. They want to see 5 years of information of where you see the business going. And so that projection has to make sense to the bank. That projection has to make a lot of sense to the bank. And when you do those projections, you have to make sure that you can justify the information on the financial analysis with your market analysis. When you do a financial projection, you have to be able to justify the information on your financial projection with your market analysis. So if I tell a bank that I am expecting to make 100,000 next year, 110,000 the year after, I have to be able to justify why I think next year I'll make 100,000. And the way you do that is you can use other similar businesses in the area that you are serving. You can use historic numbers, previous years if it's an existing business, and then you can use different market analysis within the system that you are working in. I can definitely help with those kind of things if you ever need to hire an expert support to do those things. So those are the key things to be mindful of. A lot of questions that people ask me when it comes to applying for business loan is small. Okay, small. I was reading the comments. Sorry, small. Most people ask me about business credit. What is a business credit? So this is one of the things that is really interesting. You hear a lot about it. Business credit. You have to get good business credit and all of that. In my experience, most banks don't care about business credit. Okay, let me repeat that statement. In my experience, this is just me, because I don't know I'm in Michigan. Okay, I do loans in other states. But in my experience, I have never seen a bank ask, what is your business credit? What banks have always asked for is your personal credit and the business financials. So what I say that to say, try not to get caught up in the place where people let you pay money to build business line of credit as if that can help you get bank loans. I have not seen that happen before. Okay, so in my experience, most people get bank loans with their personal credit backing the loan. Go ahead, sir.
Nana, so James Asafo J, the question be by, and I think so it's in line with what you were just breaking down. So I want you to just go deep a little bit for it. He says, is it possible to start a new business and explore avenues for grants to secure an existing business?
So yes. So
So it's like try to kill two birds with one stone by going through the back door.
yes. Actually, grants, if you can pay somebody to find you grants, do it. Grants are a great way of because you don't have to pay back grants. They do come with requirements and sometimes depending on where you are getting the grant, they give some very specific things you have to meet. But if you can get access to grant, it's one of the 100%, please go for it because it's free money. But yes, you can always have a new business and explore avenues for grants. And it depends too on what kind of business you are starting. 99% of grants in the US are for not-for-profits. There are small business grants that are available, so many of them, but 99% of grants are for not-for-profits. But if you are going to look for small business grants, most of them are within the community. For example, your community development organizations, your community foundations. The community foundations are great places to ask about small business grants because they give these monies to help small businesses within the community. So when you are looking for location for your business, those are some of the things to look out for. I know that in my community, there are some grants that are available up to 15,000 for small businesses that want to do brick and mortar businesses for repairs and those things. So those things are available in different shapes or form, but you can have the business going and then apply for the grant. There are some grants that will say that it has to be business that is already in existence. So all of those will have to come into play. So thank you, sir. So just for your information, James is my brother, so I appreciate the question. But so with that being said, so if I hope I'm kind of covering the bank section pretty clearly so that people understand, because I believe this is one of the best ways to build your own business moving. For home healthcare has been one of the biggest booming businesses that I've seen because there is a data that is out there saying that baby boomers, they are getting to an age where they are starting to need home health care services. There are so many home health care agencies out there that may be available for sale, or even some people can even secure based on your licenses, some state licenses that will allow you to use that to buy a home healthcare building to run a home healthcare service. If you want to do that, all of those things are opportunities to get support, and getting support from a small business loan to buy a building is great. It's great on so many levels for tax purposes and everything. So, so there's so many opportunities out there that you can take advantage of. So, with if there's any questions, let me know before. I think I went through the SBA program quite a bit, as just explaining it enough for us to understand what it does for us.
No, we're good. Over to my pressure. Thank you.
Okay, so there's also the opportunities to do crowdfunding. Okay, let me explain what. Now there are crowdfunding sites. This became really popular in the IT age, but there's two types of crowdfunding that you can go through. One of them is using all of these GoFundMe, Kickstarter site. You put it there and then people can support it. Those are good because when you crowdfund an idea, you are funding the business with public money, and whatever returns you tell them is what you're going to pay them, right? So if I say I'm raising money to start a business, and if you give me 1,000, I'll pay you 1,500 in 2 years. That means I'm giving 50% return over 2 years. That is a way, and then you open it up and people can go and donate and put money in there. And then in 2 years, you have to, but the thing is, because because of how you are building it, you can also make it equity. There's two different types of funding. People can give you loans where you pay back, or people can give you equity. That means they give you money and they own a certain portion of the business. You can design it that way too. It's not as complicated as people think. With equity, you just divide your business into small pieces, and you have to have a professional evaluation done so people understand how you value the business. So based on the idea, you can value the business at 100,000. So anybody that gives you 1,000 owns 1% of the business. So you value the business at 100,000. So if I give you 1,000, I own 1%. If I give you 5,000, I own 5%. If I give you 10,000, I own 10% because the business is valued at 100,000. And then you put it there so people will then, give you money towards the business, and then when you raise that 100,000, you buy the business. As you run the business, when the business makes money based on the percentage of what people donated, you pay them back. That is that you can do that, or you can do it even with family and friends, where you can gather, you can talk to PK, organize a few people, a few Ghanaians that are interested in investing in a kind of business. They will come, listen to your ideas, support it, and then they will all come in and invest, whether it's equity or loan. So that is doable. I've seen it done. Actually, there was a company in Ghana that, any questions? Okay. There was a company in Ghana that had come in and crowdfunded in the US. And then this was about 5 years ago, maybe in the COVID era. It was COVID, so it's not 5 years yet. It's about 4 years. This 2020 getting into 2021. And what they were able to raise quite a bit of money. But I remember, I worked with a few friends together, and then we listened to their pitch. It was in a farming. It sounded good. We worked with them, and then they raised some money, and then they went back. So those are ways you can always raise money through crowdfunding. Um, so that with that being said, the idea is for you to be able to pick a business, the things you have to be mindful of, and there's angel investment. I don't want to go into that. All of those things are there. But for you to be able to, you have to pick out what kind of business you're looking to buy. There are so many websites that have business listings. What I have found over the years is those are good, but those are being listed by brokers. You know how there's real estate agents? Those websites, the business are being listed by brokers. And those business brokers always get a percentage when the business sells to them. But the best way to find a business is to locally go and talk to existing businesses, talk to them, find out from them. All four businesses that I have had the chance to purchase, I talked to people in my community, found out that they are looking to sell, discuss their business, and those are the best ways to buy good businesses. But going through brokers and work too, because some of the ones that I have done work for, they found them through brokers, and the brokers will find the businesses for you. So when you find a business, you don't be too worried about how much the business is selling for. If you are going to use other people's money, OPM, they call it other people's money. So other people's money are crowdfunding, banks, all of that, because you can always find a way to raise the money, and you can do a combination of both. So you find a business online. Let's say you go through a broker, you find a store that is a gas station that is selling for 2 million. The bank says bring 20%. 20% of 2 million is 400,000. That's a lot of money. But you don't have 400,000. So what you could do, you can do three things, right? Number one, you go and you crowdfund. You talk to a few friends, say, look, I have this opportunity. I need 200,000. So if you give me 10,000, this is how much I give you. I'm going to sell 10% of the business for 200,000. And then you raise money from them to get a 10%. Then you go
And
and
now,
talk to them. Yes.
so that means the crowdfunding is almost the same as shares, right? People buying shares into the company.
Yes.
Okay.
It's kind of in the same line. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So you raise 200,000 through crowdfunding, right? That's 10%. Then you go to the owner of the business and you tell the owner, listen, I have 200,000. The bank will give me 1.6. That other 200, I want to use your revenues to pay for it so that I know that the business is legit. So give me 2 years when I buy it to pay you the other 200. So now I will give 200 to you. The bank will give you 1.4 if we get it approved, and then you will be on the hook for 200 because we want to make sure your business is what you say it is. So now the seller will agree to finance 200,000 for you. You have 10% crowdfunding, 10% seller finance. Then you go to the bank and you ask for a loan for 2 million. The bank will give you, for sure, they'll give you 80% of it. That is 1.4 million. And then, I mean, 1.6 million. I'm sorry, I did my They can then give you 80% of the loan, which is 1.6 million. And then when they approve, they do their numbers, everything is good. The bank sent 1.6 million wire to the owners. Then you raise 200,000 through the crowdfund, and now you start running the business, and 10% of the business belongs to the people that help you raise 200,000. Essentially, you've bought a $2 million business without having to put down any money, and that is doable. And I say it's doable because I've seen it done in so many times. And then the other thing you have to be mindful of is the last thing I'll talk about, and I'll open it up for questions, is legal systems. So all of these things that I'm talking to you about has a lot of documentation. In fact, if you get a loan from an SBA, the pages you have to sign is more than buying a house. And for those who bought a house, you know how many things you have to sign. So it's a lot of legal documentation. So having a lawyer by your side can be really helpful. I highly recommend that for everybody. What I can tell you is that it cost me almost 1,500 based on the legal support I used when I was buying businesses. So I give that number essentially not because that's the standard, but that's what it cost me. But that is worth it any day, every day. So what I would encourage everyone to do is find a good lawyer, find a great lawyer that you can work with if you're going to be in this space of buying businesses, because the legal part is going to be very important. Then the next thing I'll talk about is having quality insurance. Have good insurance. Funny story, and then I'll be done. Okay, so I
Right.
when I bought my first business, we bought the building with the business in there. There were employees already, so I kept the employees. Michigan has a lot of snow, as you all know. I get a
Do
call
you do
one day.
you, do you mind if you share what kind of business it was so that people can have an idea that is also
Oh,
feasible if they want to
my
do
first
that?
business was an accounting. I bought an
Oh,
accounting.
okay.
Yeah, that's it. So Michigan has a lot of snow. Tax season is the most busy time of the season. My employee comes to work, sees there's a lot of snow, goes down to pick up a shovel to shovel the snow away so people can come, slips and falls, gets surgery. This is true. Sues the company, but I had insurance covered. I get a literally you get served a legal case that you've been sued. He just needed money to pay his hospital bill. I understand that. Pass it on to the insurance. They get a lawyer, everything. That was the last I heard of it. But I can almost imagine being a new business person, not having insurance, what that could have cost me, right? So some of the reason I'm saying this is sometimes we like to cut corners, but in business, don't do that. Have good insurance, have good legal representation. Those things may cost you in the front end, but it will save you so much money in the back end. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you very much, Nana Kwame Akowa, for such a great breakdown of how to strategically own a business in the States, especially for us, the immigrants. At this point, if we have any questions, please unmute yourself and ask a question or type them in if you don't want to speak up. No be any bit me because some people don't like to speak and others are even at work, so they can type the questions and then we're going to ask them for you. I'm looking at my WhatsApp chat because I know we have some technical issues with the Facebook, but I'm looking at my WhatsApp chat. Those that are also sending messages through, I'm going to read them for you as well. Those who don't want their names to be mentioned, I will not mention your names. But please unmute yourself if you're on Zoom and if you have any question to ask, and go ahead and ask your question. Lady Smart said, thank you for the information. This is coming from Lady Smart. Please unmute yourself if you have any questions. I will urge you say, you must say your questions in term one. Yes, last minute do not see your meeting near Casana say your train the equate me. Your questions in term. I think I heard someone's voice.
No, that was me. I was saying that's what happened last week.
I
though
know,
that
right?
anyway.
Last minute, that question's there. But anyway, all good questions too. But then, please, if there are questions now, yeah, because in there by 7:30, prepare, yes, already made so. And if we've done before that, we've done before that. So if I know, say business, and there are a lot of people, know, say they are watching right now, no, really requested for this topic, and either their questions have been answered, or they will probably call you back door to, consult and just get. So Nana, can you please put up your information on so that people can um or before you put up your information and talk about how people can reach out to you, AK say, I don't know if it's AK or AK, but I'll say AK for now until they correct me. Please, do you recommend franchising? That's a good question. That's something I was really thinking about. I think say about 5 years ago, I was thinking about doing Subway. Either Subway and I said Arby's, one of them. And a bought me $250,000, but I didn't have an idea of what you're talking about. And you were supposed to have a certain amount of money in your bank account before they can even sell you the franchise. And after a couple, headbutts with it, no, I just checking out. So I mean, that's a good question. Please tell us about it.
That's awesome. So yes, franchising is good. Do your research. Franchising is amazing because you are getting into a business that has proven margins. Most franchises are even so easy to get financing for because the banks know the business, they know the industry, they understand the revenues. So it's actually easier to get funding for a franchise than other businesses. Now, franchising has its own challenges, especially the franchise fee or the success of that franchise. For example, PK, you mentioned Subway. I like to sometimes study other businesses just to understand. I was looking at the food industry and franchising. Subway, for example, don't have territory. They don't sell territories. So you can go somewhere and find two Subways in the same plaza, which is not good. You don't want to compete. So you want a franchise that has some level of exclusivity. And sometimes I don't know if they've stopped that now, but when I found out about Subway, I'm like, oh, okay, that's very interesting to know. Or you can also look at franchises where you can buy a territory. So for example, Popeyes. I found out that one person owned all the Popeyes in my location. Like there's like three different cities, but there was only one Popeye, and I'm like, how did they own? So they've bought the geography, they've bought the different locations. So they were going to open it in the future, but until then, nobody can open any Popeye within the area that they've purchased. So different franchises have different strategies to move forward with it. But franchise can be great, but it's so varied. It's so varied that different franchises will have different requirements. It's easier because franchises have a proven model and you should be able to research that. And they will give you all that information ahead of time, but do your research with a franchise because that can be good, but some of them can be really, really bad.
Okay. Any more questions, please? Please bring your questions. No, not me call YouTube. I check because the last time I checked.
Mhm. Yeah, that's fine. And then I know I did not cover credit. Like I said, I went over credit last week. So I didn't want to go into how to build your credit and all of those things because I don't think I didn't want to repeat myself. But if you have questions on credit to ask and whatever I know, I'll be happy to share. Um, yeah.
Okay. All right. If there are no more questions now, Nana, please let's look. Address in the way Chika Kramami. So if you don't mind repeating it, your telephone
Okay.
number and email is the most important ones for us. Telephone
So
number, email.
for
If you
the
can put in the
email,
Zoom for us.
okay, the email is contact at Tri-City Business. And then typically when you just call, say you need to schedule a meeting with me, and then they will definitely put you in a one-on-one meeting with me. So this is the email. Oh wait, let me everyone share. And then this is the phone number. There's two phone numbers. I'm going to put both of them.
As soon when we're done, I will ask Cynthia's questions too.
Okay. So those are the phone numbers that you can use to reach out to myself. And normally when you call, someone will pick up and then they'll just schedule a meeting based on availability, and then you and I can do one-on-one.
Okay. So Cynthia says, how can I something a loan? Probably, I think she want to say, how can I get a loan to start a healthcare business? I'm a nurse practitioner. Very good question too.
Okay. So
I think it's in line with what you said with the home care, with the baby
yes,
boomers and stuff like. Okay, go ahead.
yes. So those businesses have very strong market analysis, support system for the market analysis. So if you would like to start a home health care, most banks will be happy to. Normally, what you really need for home healthcare is maybe the home that you need to buy. So that almost becomes like a long-term real estate kind of loan. Um, and there's different ways to structure it. If you do a one-on-one, I can show you. There are so many ways you can structure it that can benefit you for tax purposes, but also can help you easier to kind of work with the bank to get the best form of financing for that. If you're buying an actual healthcare facility, then that's also very different. But there is always it's one of the ones that most banks look at it favorably.
Okay.
That it doesn't cost to schedule an information session. We don't. It's normally information session if you get scheduled is free.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. That is even better. So free consultation, please contact Nakwame Akoa, such a great financial advisor and also property and business investor, real estate investor as well for all your business and home financing, not just for business, but if you try to get a home too, you can call him. I have actually benefited from this gentleman on two different occasions. I almost got ripped off, and I have to call him on that one. Sure, oh yeah, hard guy crap still like TV for alcohol. That's why I just shit. Well, when you're in that was a bad shit. So please call him. And I remember, thank you so much. I think it was 11:30 p.m. when he answered my phone call, and because 6 o'clock in the morning, I think 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning, I had a early morning meeting to go sign the contract,
Mhm.
and I had to talk to this man before that, and I'm glad I did talk to him to
No
take
problem.
myself out of a serious issue. So please take advantage of that. Call him, and he will basically help you out with it. Nana, thank you so much for coming. You've been such a great help. Every year, Biano, we call you for two different occasions, buying a home and also tax seasons. So hope to see you again sometime in January, February to talk about more about taxes. But then I'm pretty sure I'll probably be calling you myself concerning this. Again, I'll let director sign out with you. And before he does that, please, if you want to hear any other topics that you want to hear, please, if you're already on our WhatsApp chat room, please put those topics over there. We'll make sure we get the right resource personnel to come help out with that one as well. Director, over to you.
Kwame, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I think some of us who are not first time owners, who are yet to buy who are yet to buy our first homes, learned a lot from the last session. And more importantly, buying a business takes a lot of guts. So breaking it down for people to take that gamble, making it easier for people to digest. We thank you so much. Hopefully we'll see you back. I believe we'll have you back next week, or maybe not yet.
No, next week is cybersecurity.
Okay,
We're
got
done.
it. But I'm sure we'll see you back again sometime in the future. Again, yeah, thanks for making the time for us. Yeah, just thank you. I think that's all I have for my end. Thanks, guys.
Thank
All
you.
right. And I'll say, Michelle, and I'll call you after the show to go over a couple things with you as well. God bless you.
God bless you. Thanks.
Thank you. And viewers and listeners, thank you so much for your time. You guys have been awesome as usual. With all the technical glitches and everything, we still have about 27 to 30 people just on Zoom watching and listening to us. And I know say YouTube was live, Facebook, one of them was live, but the other two had a glitch. And we do sincerely apologize for the technical difficulties and all the unforeseen circumstances. Hope to resolve that as soon as possible. But yes, you can always get this reviewed again on HITV, Tatap Sengana, Pico First and So personal page, and also HRTV on YouTube as well. And all the sessions are going to be there for your consumption. At this point, we are going to be in the Q&A session with Tatopsen. Please, a lot of you guys call me during the week to ask questions. And once I answer the question, I'm like, meet me on Monday during the Q&A section. And if you have any more further questions, let's go ahead and get it solved for you. And this is the most beautiful time to have free customer service, because you have Tatopsen in Pidgin 4 Baby. So a lot of reps are on, and Uncle Jimmy, Oba, Lady Smart, myself, A-Class Danny, and also Director himself is here. So any question that needs to push, please. Last week there was a question that was asked, and I want to bring it back again whenever we start that version, and I'll ask Director again about it. But I just want to let you know, so we're about to end the Facebook and YouTube session. So please migrate to the Zoom side and ask all your questions, please, 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 so that we can have the Zoom link is still on the link that you click to get on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you guys for being a wonderful patron on the show, and big shout outs to my producer, director, Nana Lord and Nana Boat, as well as producers at large, Danny and A-Class, for making this happening. Director, over to you.